dude, what have you been up to? It seemed like, you kind of took over the space and then fell off, and just, I think a lot of people know that you did a lot of work in the retail market, but you were very casual, like, yeah, I'm traveling, not doing much. I manage like 8,000 employees now. I was like, oh shit. So he's been working pretty hard. So yeah, just wanted to let you fill in the audience on what you've been up to.
Yeah, like that was at my NFT OG event.
Yep.
You guys came. Yeah, you came. That was a good game. I love basketball. Good comeback. The Heat almost took it all the way.
Almost.
Not quite. Sorry.
Jokic got us.
So yeah, I started in internet. I built my first campaign in 2002. So I built a landing page. I got in this course, Corey Rudel. I can talk about that later. But so I've done lots of stuff in the social media space. I kind of got in like 2012, 2013, got super big. And, I'm an explorer. There's this cool test this scientist, Helen Fisher, built. You can find it if you Google Helen Fisher test. It's built around your hormones. So it's like dopamine, norepinephrine, whatever, serotonin. So she told me, Tai, you scored that. She's tested like 2 million people. She's like, you got the highest explorer score I've ever seen on Earth, which it's not necessarily a good or bad thing. It's just so dopamine. And I like to do new things. So, I've built businesses in public and I've built them kind of more privately, and I kind of bounce around in my life. It's a pattern. So now I'm back to doing a lot more with my Tai Lopez brand. I did 2 or 3 years, I was like, I'm going to take a break from this. I think it's important to take a break. Like, I got my first Italian, like Ferrari, Maserati, I think in 2006. And then I remember around 11, I was like, you're becoming too materialistic. So I sold all my cars. And that's how I first heard about Uber, because I was living up in the Hollywood Hills. And in 2011, if you didn't have a car, you'd call a taxi sometimes. Dude, taxis wouldn't show up. Sometimes it take an hour and a half to get a taxi. So, but that's how I remember that phase. 2011, I went back. So I went like Epicurean. There's a famous saying by Will Durant, a nation's born Stoic and dies Epicurean. So nations are born like tough, Before the internet, I was living with the Amish for 2.5 years with no electricity, no cars. I went 4.5 years with no indoor toilet. Okay. That was my Stoic phase. And then I came back to the city and I bought nightclubs. And I was like, my Epicurean phase. A lot of people are like, oh, Tai, did you just like do all this lifestyle women stuff to show off? I was like, dude, I was doing that before I had any social media. So I went to the Epicurean party stage. And then, like I said, 2011, for about 3 years, I went back to Stoic. Then here in my garage, blew up in 2015 and just was like, it's like you become one of the most Googled people in the world for a while. So that's kind of a weird phase. I'm not sure if that's epic or stoic or whatever. But I was like, okay, now I'm going to go offline. So it's just like a pattern. And I think it's good to break it up, man. Most entrepreneurs are like very much like, I want to win. Like I'm going to and that's fine. For whatever reason, I don't have that hard wiring. Like, first off, I believe what Charlie Munger says. There's always some dude who's going to be making more money than you. Mm-hmm. Even last year, you had Elon Musk at the top. He falls quickly on the Forbes list, and Bernard Arnault passes him.
Yeah.
By like $80 billion. You know what I mean? So to me, I don't have that drive. I respect people with that drive. I feel like most entrepreneurs do. Some ways I don't fit in with the entrepreneur community because they're like, I don't see another dude. I guess I don't have much envy. And most entrepreneurs in the space are driven by envy, which I'm not going to make a judgment call. It is what it is. But you end up, when you're driven by envy, it's a little bit like I saw Jeff Bezos. He found out who had the biggest yacht. Then he built one slightly bigger, so big they had to take down a bridge in the Netherlands that's been standing for 300 years to get it out of the dock.
And his wife is still looking at Leo, giving him looks.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Maybe I want to, you bring up an interesting point. I do compete on one thing, and that I call the good life. So to me, I admire, I'm even in business with some people that are on the Forbes list. So I know the billionaires, and, you know, I grew up with no money, and I had this conception of what the billionaire life was. Now that I know people like that, well, like intimately enough to know the real deal, like they don't win in my scorecard.
Hey guys, if you enjoyed this short clip, check out the full interview here. And if you want to see more clips from this episode, check it out right here.